Look at this horizon. There, where the sky meets the water, there is no sharp boundary, only an endless transition from one state of being to another. We come to the sea when we are searching for answers, but the truth is, the sea does not give answers. It simply silences our internal questions. Today, we speak of the most difficult art available to a human being, the art of mastering oneself. Why, in a world where we have everything for comfort, do we feel so lost? Why is it so difficult for us to simply do what we ourselves know to be right? Pause for a moment and consider, who is actually in control of your life? Most of us spend our days in a state of automatism. We wake up to a signal, we react to notifications on a phone, we yield to momentary impulses, and we call this freedom. But is it truly freedom to be a slave to your own mood? If your plans for the day crumble simply because you don't feel like it, or the mood isn't there, then you are not the master of your own house. You are a splinter tossed from side to side in this vast ocean of circumstances. True self-mastery begins not with the suppression of self, but with the understanding of one's own nature. We are dual beings. Within us lives an ancient instinct that seeks safety, food, and immediate pleasure. And within us also lives a reason capable of seeing years ahead, of building worlds and realizing the meaning of existence. The conflict between these parts is inevitable, like the collision of waves against the shore. Discipline is not a punishment that reason imposes on the body. It is a contract in which you choose your greatness over your temporary comfort. Look at the water. It possesses a unique quality. It always remains itself, regardless of the form in which it is contained. It can be quiet and transparent, or it can crush granite cliffs. The secret of water lies in its fluidity and its lack of resistance where resistance is useless. We, however, spend a colossal amount of energy resisting reality. We get angry at traffic, we take offense at criticism, we suffer because the world does not meet our expectations. But self-mastery is the ability to maintain clarity of mind while a storm rages around you. It is the understanding that your reaction is the only thing in the world that belongs entirely to you. Why is it so hard for us to begin? We often wait for a perfect moment when everything falls into place. We wait for inspiration. We wait for a sign. We wait for Monday. But this shore remembers millions of such expectations. Time does not wait. Time is the sand that slips through your fingers while you stand in indecision. Motivation is a spark. It can light a fire, but only discipline can sustain it through a cold, long night. To wait for inspiration to take a step is to trust your fate to chance. Mastery, however, consists in taking the step simply because it must be taken. Often we fear solitude because in the silence we hear the voice of our conscience reminding us of our unrealized potential. We fill the silence with noise, music, and the voices of others just to avoid being alone with ourselves. But it is here, In the silence at the edge of the water that true power is born. Self-mastery requires solitude. You must learn to endure your own company before you can effectively interact with the world. Solitude is not the absence of people nearby. It is the presence of oneself in full measure. Notice how the waves roll onto the sand time after time. There is no rush, no frantic hurry, yet there is an inevitability. This is the great lesson of persistence. We are used to fast results. We want to change our lives in a week, learn a language in a month, find peace in a single meditation session. But life is a marathon, not a sprint. Discipline is the ability to take small, almost invisible steps every single day. One word read, one promise kept, one moment where you remained silent instead of responding with rudeness. From these grains of sand, the continent of your character is built. Do not despise small deeds, for within them lies the power of the tide. The greatest victory is the victory over one's own ego. Our ego wants recognition. It wants to be right. It wants to feel important. It constantly compares us to others, causing either pride or envy. But the sea does not care who looks at it, be it a beggar or a king. It remains true to its essence. Self-mastery means the ability to let go of the need for validation. When you no longer need to prove anything to the world, you gain true power. You become free from judgment because your internal compass is set to your own truth, not to the opinions of others. Recall the moments when you lost control. Anger, resentment, a misplaced desire. In those seconds, you ceased to be yourself. You became an instrument in the hands of an emotion. But between the stimulus and the response, there is always a gap. That tiny space is where your freedom lives. Self-mastery is the ability to expand that gap, to breathe, to look at the situation from the outside, as if you were watching a seagull in the sky. To ask yourself, will my reaction help me become the person I want to be? If the answer is no, allow that emotion to pass through you, like water passes through a net. It should leave no traces on your soul. Many think that a disciplined life is boring and devoid of spontaneity, but look at it differently. Discipline frees you from the tyranny of the trivial. When you have order in your thoughts and actions, you have space for true creativity and deep rest. An undisciplined person is constantly busy extinguishing fires they created themselves through laziness or inattention. A disciplined person manages the sails so they have the time to enjoy the view of the stars. See how the sun sets. This cycle has repeated for billions of years. Nature knows no hurry, yet it always achieves its goals. We, however, are constantly running, afraid of being late. But where are we running? Ultimately, we will all arrive at the same finale. The question is only what your path was like. Was it conscious, or did you simply drift with the current, obeying the winds of random whims? Self-mastery is respect for your own life. It is the recognition that your time is sacred, and you have no right to waste it on emptiness. Become like this ocean, deep, calm, and self-sufficient. Let the waves rage on the surface. Let the weather change. Let the ships come and go. In the depths, there must remain silence. This silence is your true essence. When you find this center of peace within yourself, you will realize that discipline is not a set of chains. It is a pair of wings. It is the opportunity to fly above the chaos of everyday life and see the world as it truly is, beautiful, harsh, and infinite. Breathe, listen to the tide, and remember, you are the master of your soul. Your journey begins here, with this thought, with this breath, right now.